The war between Hamas and Israel continues to escalate as Israeli officials are now threatening the nation of Iran, promising to, quote, cut off the head of the snake if Iranian-backed Hezbollah joins the war. We're going to see the latest in the battle in the Middle East, and we're going to think through the worldwide ramifications if Israel goes forward with their threats to attack Iran. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, gang. It is I, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you. I'm trying to make sense of this crazy and turbulent world. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been analyzing in detail the geopolitical consequences that can potentially occur as part of the fallout from the Israeli-Hamas war. The latest sign of escalation came over the weekend when an Israeli minister issued an ominous threat to Iran and Lebanon, promising to, quote, wipe them off the face of the earth if Hezbollah opens up a northern front in the Hamas war. Israel, now as we speak, faces two immediate threats, one from its south and the other from its north. The government of Egypt is sending humanitarian aid to the Palestinians, and they are potentially going to get caught in the middle of Israel's massive retaliation, which would put pressure on the Egyptian government to retaliate in kind. And then to Israel's north, you've got Hezbollah in Lebanon. Already Hezbollah's fired rockets into Israel, and IDF forces, Israeli Defense Forces, retaliate in kind by hitting Lebanon. But now increasingly, the rhetoric coming out of the Israeli Defense Forces is putting a target on the nation of Iran. And it's not just Israel issuing threats. It's not just Iran receiving threats. Here's the international staring contest winner, Mitch McConnell, over the weekend.
The way to go. There's an axis of evil in the world. China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. And we need to stand up to the axis of evil, not try to do business with them. We see that Iran, the principal sponsor of terrorism, sending drones to the Russians and attacking Hezbollah, and in this particular situation, Hamas, attacking the Israelis with drones. So it's all connected. That you can't separate out one part of it and say, oh, we're only going to deal with this. It's all connected. The Iranians are a threat to us as well. And so this is an emergency. It's an emergency that we step up and deal with this axis of evil, China, Russia, Iran, because it's an immediate threat to the United States.
So as you can see, it's 9/11 all over again, gang. There's that axis of evil phrase that was first used by George W. Bush back in January of 2003, which of course was used to justify that horrific failure of an invasion of Iraq over the false pretense that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. It's literally the same rhetoric coming from the lips of the same war hawk neocons. Iran, Russia, China all pose a clear and present threat to the United States. Again, not to Israel, not to Ukraine, not to Taiwan. No, Iran, Russia, and China are all collectively clear and present dangers to the United States. So as you can see, Ukraine and Israel have together reawakened the neocon war hawks like we're seeing with, say, Nikki Haley. And make no mistake, if they get their way, they'll leave behind the same ash heap of carnage and destruction and mayhem they always leave behind. Neocons like McConnell and Lindsey Graham only know how to escalate. They only know how to expand, intensify, and spiral the threat. They never de-escalate. They never speak in measured and assuaging tones that seek a peaceful resolution. It's always more war, more weapons, more money. It's always escalation. So on to our question. What happens if Israel hits Iran? What will the fallout inevitably be? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out. But first, how many UFC fans do we have out there? We know the one and only Donald Trump is a huge UFC fan, as are the fighters of him. But have you ever wondered what they do to manage their pain? Well, you don't have to, because a fellow patriot and good friend of this channel is precisely the one who provides relief to that pain, and he's here to do the same for you. Now, we all know that as we age, aches and pains are normal, but they don't have to be. And that's where the groundbreaking medical scientist Clint Winters comes in. Now, you've seen Clint on Fox. You've seen him a number of times on this channel. He's a world-renowned health expert who's unveiled a natural pain reliever that's taking the world by storm. It's called CB2. It's the 100% drug-free way to get full-body pain relief without dangerous meds, and it is the official pain reliever for the fighters in the UFC. And the best news, CB2 has no documented side effects after years of private testing. It's absolutely the future of pain relief. So, gang, whatever you do, make sure to click on that link below right now and check out Clint's amazingly informative report on how CB2 is changing lives, providing safe, powerful relief at a fraction of the cost of pain pills. Click on that link below right now. If Israel strikes Iran, they will immediately incur the wrath of Hezbollah to their north, a Shiite organization closely allied with Iran. Most military analysts believe that a strike against Iran would immediately erupt into a two-front war for Israel, which of course makes the strike that much more serious. For its part, Iran is busy warning Israel that things could spiral out of control any day now if they continue to persist in their devastating strikes on Gaza, and they have this in mind. But it's not just Iran and Lebanon that Israel has to worry about. While the Persian-dominated Iran has a controversial relationship with the larger Arab world, Arab-dominated Lebanon has no such issue. The Arab world would almost immediately rally around Lebanon in the event of an Israeli attack. And for its part, Iran has the clear sympathies of Russia and China, which Mitch McConnell alluded to. Ever since the eruption of the Syrian civil war back in 2011, Iranian and Russian ties have grown very close. Both countries provided crucial support to the Syrian government under President Bashar al-Assad while pursuing their own strategic interests in the region. Iran has been a long-standing ally of the Syrian government, primarily due to their shared geopolitical and ideological interests. Syria serves as a crucial link in Iran's regional influence, providing a land route for the transportation of weapons and supplies to Hezbollah and Lebanon. So not only would a strike against Iran put tremendous pressure for Syria to assist in a retaliation, but Russia as well. Russia and Iran have coordinated joint military activities and shared intelligence in supporting the Assad regime's military operations. The Russian military provided air support to Iranian-backed ground forces, facilitating their offenses against opposition groups and terrorist organizations, including taking out ISIS. And in return, Iran allowed Russia to use its air bases for conducting airstrikes in Syria. So all of this is to say that the alliance between the two nations has grown very, very strong over the last decade. And Russia may not sit idly by while Iran is getting attacked. They'll certainly at least supply weapons, money, and intelligence to Iran. And China, of course, has grown extremely close to Russia, declaring a limitless alliance between their two nations, with Iran becoming one of the most recent members to join their economic alliance known as BRICS. What all of this means, bottom line, is that Iran is not the isolated nation it was a decade ago. Iran now belongs to both the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and BRICS, along with Saudi Arabia and the UAE. In other words, Iran has friends. Lots of them. And with formidable economic and military strength, China and Russia being the two biggest friends, they are formidable for sure. So any strike against Iran would cause this whole thing to blow up beyond anything we could have imagined. So obviously, we'll be keeping our eyes pinned very closely to the ongoing unfolding of events here and pray that this conflict remains absolutely contained. Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.